How was your weekend?
Well, I had a fabulous weekend.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I see you rocking the Cowboys. How did they do?
No, we lost.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. My Eagles won on Sunday night. My Eagles won.
No, you're not.
It was a close game. I wasn't happy about how close the game was, but we still pulled it off. So, and I know one thing, it's raining out hard today, which what I call sleepy weather, actually.
No, this is sexy weather.
This is sleepy weather.
Sexy weather.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, yeah. Yeah, it is a good cuddle movie day kind of thing, but yeah, I had to throw on, those who know me, my family and friends, I had to throw on Scooby-Doo, my Scooby-Doo hoodie today.
The guy said he can't wait till you get home.
Yeah, but yep, I'm just vibing. Got a nice beat back there, I like that. Nice and smooth beat. Hello and welcome back to LUKE-N-SHAE'S place. We're glad you joined us today. So please, before we begin, please subscribe, like, and also share. So what we have today, Luke, it looks like we got our first letter. So from time to time, we'll have some of our viewers that'll either email us or contact us with a letter that they would like read, so we can have different things to talk about. So we have our first letter today, and that's what we're going to dive into. We're going to get into that.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, you ready? All right. All right, let's see who we have it from today. Okay, so it looks like today we received a letter from, looks like it's coming from Florida. And we received a letter from Work Wife in Florida.
Work wife.
Work Wife.
Okay.
Okay.
That's not good at all.
And again, when we get letters, we just ask our viewers to just anonymous. We don't need your name or anything. We're just gonna have different discussions. When you write us in, send us a letter, we're going to read them and we're going to have different topics. That's different things that we can discuss and just go from there. So let's see what she has to say. Again, from Work Wife in Florida. I am a wife of 5 years with 2 children residing in Florida. Recently, I was laid off from my job of 6 years, and I now wonder if it was due to an inappropriate relationship I had with a coworker.
That's not good.
Oh.
Wow, that's crazy right there.
Okay, let's see. And it goes on to read. Okay. I had a great job with the promotion that I received 2 years ago. About 5 months ago, a new guy started in my department. Well, we know where this is heading. So a new guy started in her department, and it says that we worked closely on projects and started a little bit of flirting.
Oh, so just a little flirting.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I don't play that flirting thing.
Just a little bit of flirting, she says.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually I started flirting back a lot, which quickly progressed into some flirty touching.
Uh-oh.
Before I knew it,
on.
yeah. So with the flirty touching, it says, before I knew it, we would sneak off into areas of the job where no one would be, just us fooling around in dark places of the job. We talked about meeting up outside of work, but that never happened. He would talk to me about his wife, who had their second child 7 months prior to him starting the job.
Okay.
And she was no longer being intimate with them. Okay, so she's saying that, let me see. What did it say up here? It said,
but did she believe that?
So he started at her job And okay, he worked, okay, it says 5 months at her job. So before he got there, I'm assuming the wife had the baby 7 months before that. Okay, so 7 months. So, all right. So she wasn't intimate with him. And it says, I believe that made me feel even more desired because he lacked intimacy. Our fooling around at work lasted for 5 months until one day I was laid off with no explanation really, but they told me they needed to do some layoffs.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
That's not good.
Yeah. I wonder if he got laid off too. I mean, was it just her? I later found out I was the only one laid off. Could this be because of my role as his work wife? I feel horrible. Signed, work wife in Florida. So she wants to know if...
Did she know he was married? That's a good question.
Well, and he would have conversations with her about his wife, right? Yeah. Remember, she had the baby 7 months before?
What I was saying was that happening prior to the flirting and going on. Because if you didn't know it in the beginning, that's a lack of knowledge. You don't know, but...
That is true. I mean, well, it sounds like she knew because they were flirting and he would have conversations with her about the wife. That sounds like maybe that was the finessing part to say he's not being intimate at home.
Okay. Well, how do you feel as the woman in that situation, having that situation play out, okay? Because if she knew he was married, what would make a woman want to interact with a man? And I'm not saying the man is free from blame in this situation because I think, he played a part in it. But what would make a woman go after a man that's already in a relationship?
And what it sounds like is they both were married because she was married in the beginning. She says that she's a wife of 6 years with 2 children in Florida. So she also was married. So, I mean, for myself, you said, what was your question? You said, what would make a woman go after a married? Now,
a man that's already married at that point in time, well, how could you interact with a brother knowing that the brother is already involved with another person? And although, if the person is telling you, well, we didn't have sex or we're not having sex, what would make a woman say, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and give you some because you're lacking it?
And I think that pretty much, she doesn't really dive into her relationship with her husband at home. She just says, like, one-sided. He's telling her that his wife's not intimate. She's not going into that. I'm assuming there's nothing wrong at home with her because she doesn't have like a back and forth, like if she stated, his wife was not intimate with him and my husband wasn't giving me attention or something like that. She didn't really have anything negative to say about her household.
What I'm saying to you, as a woman in that position, see, as a man, I understand his position as a man. I can clearly understand, what he's doing because like I said, I don't buy into his wife not being intimate with him, which is all could be possible. But by the same token, I can't see where the person would be like, okay, my wife ain't doing it, so I'm going to go out here and talk to you. But I think that's more of a talking point for a brother that's trying to, trying to trick the Jew, okay?
Yeah.
That look more like somebody like, okay, well, look, I'm just saying this because this will make you have more sympathy for me in that situation to want to explore options outside of.
Yeah, and like she said, she felt like she was more desired by him because she was thinking the wife wasn't doing something for him in that way. I actually...
But see, that's a touchy subject because you just said he was more, she felt more desired, okay? She felt more desired by him, okay? Mm-hmm. But with that being said, okay, would that have happened even if her husband was doing the same thing. Because see, there's a different type of desire when you being desired at work as opposed to at home.
Yes.
And you're being desired by a new person. That's the same thing a lot of men get caught up in sometimes, when the woman pays a little bit more attention, brings you food to work, those type things, and then you get caught up thinking about those things, because men kind of, like I said, relate to these things in that way. But at the same time, what would get the woman there in that same frame, that mind frame set right now?
And it sounds like the attention. And that's not to say her husband wasn't giving her attention at home, but it sounds like she's one of those females that maybe somewhere in her life she lacks attention. So now she's getting that at work, and now it's like, I don't know, it just sounds like maybe it was a thrill because you're sneaking. Nobody sees us. We're going into dark places at work where nobody else is, and we're just having this whole full-blown flirty touching, and it's I mean, that's
a lot to digest right there. So.
It is a lot to digest, and just from knowledge of different people in my life that I've known, and just past experiences too, years of that kind of stuff where you have that going on at work, and it's like I think it's just vulnerability. Okay. Just where you're vulnerable. Like, you're believing that this person, he could tell you that, okay, I don't have a wife. I mean, how you don't even know. Like, unless you're believing things that people say, and you don't have any facts about that.
Yeah, but that's the contrast. The contrast is the person, I have to come to grips with the person being married. I have to come to grips with myself being married. But at the same time, I need to come to grips as the woman, as the man being married. So at this point in time, being that you control access to sex, it will be in your best interest to push away. Like I said, I remember a certain story with my sister, and a married man asking her out one time, and she gave him the whole thumb down, like, look, you can kiss this, and basically that ended that whole process right there.
I guess so.
But that's what women, I would say women used to do, would be like, well, I'm not saying all, but like I said, that would be something women were used to do. When the man had a ring on his finger, well, you pushed them away. You were like, no, well, you know what? You're married. Can't nothing come out of this. And if I'm looking for a husband and you're somebody else's husband, what's the odds of you actually leaving and coming with me? And that's pretty slim to none. So, like I said, I mean, it would take, I know, like I said, a man would definitely jump on it. But by the same token, because, like I said, I don't believe in all the flirting at the job anyway. I don't believe in the job wife or the job husband or those type things, because, yeah, it's going to lead to things, because sex starts in the mind. You're going to start thinking. Your mind going to start wondering in those areas. So, yeah, and it could go there. But most of the time, like I said, that woman has to shut that down. That's more in her field to shut it down. Not saying that he shouldn't, he's wrong for asking, but it's up to her to shut it down.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, that a woman controls sex. So with that being said, her no is a no. The flirting was welcome, because she said that it wasn't long after they started the verbal flirting. She started flirting back, and they quickly turned to touching. So, I mean, what it is, and I think a lot of, just not going off a topic, but just to touch on that, but the grass is not greener on the other side. A lot of times, and if anybody ever thought it was greener on the other side, I believe when you're at work and it's the thrill and the sneaking, but then when you have people that actually leave their mates to try to be together that way, now that sneaking is gone. That whole thing yes. The sneaking that you were doing at work, that was like, okay, I can't wait to get to work to see this person. I can't wait to, it's all the same. You're sneaking from your coworkers. You're sneaking from your boss, all the people. And now when you guys actually leave your mates and then you start to have a relationship together, how's that going to go? Yeah, because you met that person in a wrong way. You actually met that person while you were already in a marriage. So it's like, how are you going to have trust? How is that person going to
That's
trust
true.
you the next job that you have? Who's
Yeah,
going to
always.
be your next work wife
Yeah.
or next work husband? You know, so
Well,
it's
like
like
I
a
said,
continuing
that's what
cycle. When does that cycle end?
you open up a can, and that can you can't close back. Sort of like Pandora's box. Once you start it, it's so important, like I said, to be grounded with the word and have an understanding of the word. But yeah, that's the keys to all of that. But at the same time, by the same token, yeah, we're a sexualized generation now, and everything is pushed toward that type
Yeah.
of stuff. So
And I can relate to that. Like I said, just over the years, like younger years, 19, you know, just starting into work where you're, you know, a big facility, and that's the narrative that I would hear men say. And they could have had the sweetest wife and the, you know, the nice, but it's always it's always on the line of pretty much she's not giving me none. And it's like, oh, and then you're wondering like why,
so
you know, because you look at this person
make...
and you think they're a handsome guy, like, okay, wow, he's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he's talking to you, the story's just like, man, I don't know, she's pushing me off, she doesn't. So then you start to feel like, and you should never feel like, okay, if you started a friendship, now you feel like, okay, should I be helping them in that department? And you should never feel that way. But it's always the narrative of, and I'm not saying always, it could be other things, but I find that that's a go-to where people have to put the one at home down. Now, everything can be peaches and cream, but I find that in order for the affair to take off, you have to make the person at home, your mate, seem less than. So that way the other person has less guilt to even join into that with you. You know, it's almost like she could be or he could be the greatest husband or wife. But I have to say something negative so that way this person feels like, okay, come aboard, you know, like whether it's, okay, my wife is lazy, or my husband, oh my goodness, he doesn't spend time with me. He doesn't give me attention, because that's always a word that a lot of females will use. Will use that attention. And attention, you're seeking it in the wrong place when it's at work. It's never gonna end good in that instance, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good anyway, but yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting conversation.
Yeah, it is. Work wife, work husband. So it's, I mean, I don't know. You know, if you guys feel free, as you know, as we're talking, as you guys are watching this, feel free to, in the comments below, go ahead and comment and just say what you want to say to work wife in Florida. Like any advice or anything you have for her, you can put in the comments below. But that's just something that I see that a lot. And for the jobs, places that I've worked at, I can't think of a job that I had where, yeah, that kind of stuff didn't go on. Like, again, from the start of my younger years, getting out of high school, that was just a thing. You would see that kind of stuff going on the job.
Yeah, I know it happens, but like I said, no matter where it happens, it's wrong. But I hear you.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother thing. But like I like to say, we would like for you to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe.
Please.
Like and share. It's important to help us build this podcast. Please like, subscribe, share, do all that. And look out for us. We enjoy giving you these things, and we're gonna get better as we go each week. We're still working in the beginning process of our podcast here. So bear with us a little bit as we move into, you know, bigger things and doing bigger things. So yeah, like I said, look forward to bigger things that we're going to do. We're going to touch on a lot of different subjects. This is one of the subjects we have, because we did receive this letter.
Yes.
So we're looking for more letters from you guys so that we have more things to discuss on here. But yeah, we look forward to those things.
Yes, and work wife from Florida, we thank you for reaching out to us, and you know, just good luck with everything. And wow, thank you so much for visiting us again, and come back again. Thank you.
Bye.